Welcome to Wrestling Forever, where we honor the legends who paved the way and left an everlasting impact on the wrestling world. Their stories continue to inspire, reminding us of their passion and dedication. Today, we also bring you heartfelt news about Randy Orton, whose recent situation has deeply moved the wrestling community. Join us as we celebrate their legacies with powerful tributes and cherished memories. Subscribe to keep their spirit alive for future generations. Mickey Henson, born on January 2, 1963, was a passionate and talented professional wrestling figure who left an enduring mark on the industry. Known for her dedication, charisma, and trailblazing influence, Henson became a beloved personality among wrestling fans and fellow performers. Tragically, she had due to complications related to COVID-19 and Hodgkin's lymphoma, a form of cancer she had bravely battled for years. Her marked a heartbreaking loss for the wrestling world, as many remembered her not only for her achievements, but for her warmth and guidance. Henson's wrestling journey began in the late 1980s, during a time when the sport was rapidly evolving. Her natural athleticism, magnetic personality, and sharp understanding of in-ring psychology quickly set her apart. Whether competing in singles matches or tag team bouts, she brought an energy and intensity that commanded attention. Her style combined technical prowess with fearless physicality, earning her the admiration of audiences across various wrestling promotions. She wasn't just a competitor, she was a performer who understood how to tell a compelling story between the ropes. Beyond her wrestling ability, Mickey Henson was a tireless advocate for women's wrestling. In an era when female talent often struggled for recognition, she pushed boundaries and championed equality. She mentored younger talent behind the scenes, often providing encouragement, advice, and support. Her efforts helped lay the groundwork for the women's revolution in wrestling that would flourish in later years. Colleagues and fans alike remembered Henson as someone who radiated kindness, grit, and heart. Her legacy lives on through those she inspired and the progress she helped ignite in the industry. Mickey Henson's life and contributions remain a powerful reminder of the strength, courage, and resilience she brought to the world of wrestling. Starman, born on November 16, 1974, was a beloved professional wrestler who became a standout figure in the industry due to his vibrant persona, high-energy performances, and deep connection with fans. His career spanned various wrestling promotions, where he captivated audiences with his colorful ring attire, often decorated with bright hues and star motifs. Starman wasn't just a visual standout. His signature high-flying maneuvers and daring aerial assaults made him a crowd favorite, particularly among younger audiences who were drawn to his superhero-like appearance and attitude. Throughout his career, Starman built a reputation as both an entertainer and a dedicated athlete. His matches were marked by agility, athleticism, and an unwavering commitment to delivering excitement in the ring. But beyond the ropes, he was also known for his kindness and community spirit. He frequently took part in charity events, local wrestling shows, and youth mentorship programs, offering encouragement to aspiring wrestlers and fans alike. His enthusiasm was contagious, and he was widely regarded as a role model within the wrestling community. Tragically, Starman. His was attributed to cardiac complications stemming from an undiagnosed heart condition that had gone unnoticed during his active wrestling years. Reports later confirmed that he had been experiencing mild symptoms for some time, but had brushed them off as exhaustion from travel and performance demands, something common among wrestlers who endure grueling schedules. His sudden passing sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. Fans, colleagues, and wrestling organizations paid tribute to him on social media, sharing memories and honoring his legacy. While his life was cut short, Starman's impact on the industry continues to be felt. He is remembered not only for his in-ring talent, but also for his infectious joy and the inspiration he brought to countless lives. Bobby Heenan, born Raymond Lewis Heenan on November 1, 1944, in Chicago, Illinois, was more than just a figure in professional wrestling. He was a master of the craft. Revered as one of the greatest managers the industry has ever seen, Heenan earned the nickname The Brain for his razor-sharp wit, silver tongue, and uncanny ability to captivate audiences while elevating the talent he surrounded himself with. His blend of humor, intelligence, and theatrical charisma made him a one-of-a-kind personality. In a world built on larger-than-life characters, Heenan began his wrestling journey in the 1960s, first stepping into the ring as a wrestler. However, it wasn't long before his natural flair for showmanship led him into a managerial role, where he would truly shine. He became the voice and strategist behind some of wrestling's biggest names, including Andre the Giant, Ric Flair, Mr. Perfect, and the Brainbusters. His ability to generate fan hatred, or heat, was unparalleled, often stealing the spotlight with his biting promos and comedic timing. In addition to managing, Heenan became a beloved commentator for both the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, and World Championship Wrestling, WCW. His playful antagonism, especially alongside Gorilla Monsoon, created some of the most memorable commentary duos in wrestling history. Tragically, Heenan's later years were marked by a battle with throat cancer, which was first diagnosed in 2002. He bravely fought the illness for over a decade, enduring multiple surgeries and complications that affected his speech and appearance. Despite these struggles, he remained a cherished figure in the wrestling community until his passing on September 17, 2017, at the age of 72, due to organ failure stemming from complications of cancer. Bobby Heenan's legacy lives on, his brilliance forever etched in the annals of wrestling history. Ray Traylor, better known by his ring name Big Boss Man, was born on May 2, 1963, in Atlanta, Georgia. He rose to prominence in the world of professional wrestling thanks to his imposing physical presence, surprising agility for his size, and unforgettable character work. Traylor's career spanned the 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s, with key roles in major promotions like the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now WWE, and World Championship Wrestling, WCW. Traylor began his wrestling journey in the mid-1980s and soon adopted the persona of the Big Boss Man, a no-nonsense, tough-as-nails prison guard complete with a uniform, nightstick, and an attitude to match. This character quickly became iconic. His realistic portrayal of law enforcement and ability to dominate matches made him a fan favorite and a reliable heel or face, depending on the storyline. He had notable feuds with major stars, including a high-profile rivalry with Hulk Hogan, and a memorable storyline involving The Big Show that became one of the most talked-about angles of the Attitude Era. Throughout his career, Big Boss Man earned accolades such as the WWF Hardcore Championship and WWF Tag Team Championship. His work extended beyond WWE, as he also made a strong impression in WCW under various aliases, showcasing his adaptability and enduring appeal. Sadly, Ray Traylor, at the age of 41. The cause of was a heart attack, which occurred while he was at his home in Georgia. His sudden passing shocked the wrestling world and left a void among fans who had grown up watching him. Traylor's legacy lives on through his larger-than-life character, consistent performances, and his posthumous induction into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2008-2016. Doug Furnas, born on December 4, 1961, was an esteemed American professional wrestler whose career left a lasting imprint on the world of wrestling. Known for his formidable athleticism, technical prowess, and dedication to his craft, Furnas was a standout figure in the 1990s wrestling scene. Before making his mark in professional wrestling, Doug honed his skills as an amateur wrestler, which laid the foundation for his disciplined and precise in-ring style, setting him apart from many of his peers. Furnas first rose to prominence in the late 1980s, initially cutting his teeth on the independent circuit. His talent quickly earned him a spot in World Championship Wrestling, WCW, in 1991, where he showcased his technical ability and athleticism, but it was his partnership with fellow wrestler Philip Lafon that truly launched his career to new heights. The duo, known as Furnas and Lafon, became a beloved and highly respected tag team. Their matches were marked by a blend of high-energy action and flawless technical wrestling, making them fan favorites. In 1995, Furnas and Lafon took their talents to the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, where their tag team chemistry continued to shine. They faced off against some of the top tag teams in the company, leaving a lasting impression with their skillful performances. Their reputation as one of the best tag teams of the era was firmly cemented during their time in the WWF. Furnas also competed in prestigious promotions such as All Japan Pro Wrestling, AJPW, where his international acclaim grew. Following his retirement from active competition, Doug Furnas transitioned to a role as a trainer, imparting his knowledge to the next generation of wrestlers. Sadly, his life was cut short when he, at the age of 50. The cause of was complications related to a heart condition, leaving the wrestling community mourning the loss of a true legend. Doug's legacy lives on through his contributions to the sport and the admiration he garnered from both fans and peers. Gorilla Monsoon, born Robert James Gino Morella on June 4, 1937, in Rochester, New York, was an iconic figure in the world of professional wrestling, whose influence spanned both the squared circle and the broadcast booth. Standing at an imposing 6 feet 5 inches and tipping the scales at over 400 pounds during his wrestling prime, Monsoon's sheer size and strength earned him the fitting moniker Gorilla. He became a dominant force in the 1970s and 1980s, initially competing in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, WWF, where he formed a successful tag team partnership with the legendary Wild Bill Watts, capturing the WWF World Tag Team Championship. Despite his promising career, Monsoon's time as an active wrestler was cut short due to a series of debilitating injuries. These setbacks led him to pivot from the ring to the commentator's booth, where his voice would become legendary. As a commentator, Monsoon's presence was unmatched, particularly during the explosive rise of Hulk Hogan and the Hulkamania era. His work alongside color commentators like Jesse the Body Ventura and, later, Bobby the Brain Heenan turned Monsoon into a beloved figure within the wrestling world. His sharp wit, humorous banter, and vast knowledge of the sport made him a fan favorite, and his partnership with Heenan, in particular, created some of the most memorable moments in wrestling commentary. However, Monsoon's life was not without its personal struggles. His immense size, while an asset in the ring, also led to health complications, including heart disease. In the years leading up to Monsoon battled severe heart issues, ultimately succumbing to heart failure on October 6, 1999, at the age of 62. His passing sent shockwaves through the wrestling community, leaving a void that would never be filled. Tributes flooded in from wrestlers, colleagues, and fans alike, all honoring his contributions to the sport. Monsoon's legacy, both as a wrestler and as a commentator, continues to inspire, ensuring his place in the annals of wrestling history is forever secure. Randy Orton is a name that resonates deeply within the world of professional wrestling. Over the course of his more than 2-decade career, Orton has become one of WWE's most celebrated and accomplished superstars, cementing his place among the greatest wrestlers to ever step foot in the squared circle. His combination of technical ability, athleticism, and sheer presence made him a key player in WWE's success over the years. However, Orton's journey to greatness has not been without its struggles, particularly when it comes to injuries. From shoulder surgeries to career-threatening spinal issues, Orton's body has endured a great deal of wear and tear. Yet through it all, his perseverance and determination have been a hallmark of his career. This article takes a deeper look into the most significant injuries that Randy Orton has faced, the toll they've taken on his career, and the ongoing speculation about his health and future. A career defined by physical demand. Randy Orton's wrestling career has been built on a foundation of physical excellence. A third-generation wrestler, Orton grew up in the industry. He is the son of WWE Hall of Famer Bob Orton Jr. and grandson of the legendary Big O, Bob Orton Sr. This lineage not only brought him knowledge and insight into the business, but also introduced him to the physical demands that come with it. From a young age, Orton was immersed in the wrestling world, and by 2002, he made his debut in the WWE, quickly establishing himself as one of the most gifted performers of his generation. Orton's wrestling style is a blend of technical expertise, high-impact moves, and psychological mastery. As part of his gimmick, Orton embraced the persona of the Viper, a cold, calculating character who would strike with precision and ruthlessness, often turning on his closest allies. His style and charisma made him a fan favorite, and he quickly rose through the ranks to become one of the most prominent stars of WWE's ruthless aggression era. However, the very qualities that made Orton so effective as a wrestler also made him more susceptible to the physical tolls of the sport. His hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach to in-ring competition made him one of the best, but it also led to multiple injuries that would shape his career. Chronic shoulder problems. Perhaps the most recurring injury that Orton has faced throughout his career is related to his shoulders. Orton's shoulder issues began early, with a major injury in 2002. This injury would set the tone for what would become a long battle with shoulder dislocations. As a young wrestler, Orton's natural athleticism allowed him to perform at a high level, but the constant strain placed on his body would begin to manifest itself over time, especially in his shoulders. The intensity of his style combined with the physically demanding nature of WWE's schedule made shoulder injuries a persistent problem for him. One of the most significant instances of this was in 2010 during his feud with Edge. Orton dislocated his shoulder during a match at the WWE Over the Limit pay-per-view, a moment that would have far-reaching consequences for his career. The dislocation was not just a minor setback. It was a painful reminder of how much wear and tear Orton's body had already endured. Doctors confirmed that Orton's hypermobile shoulders made him more prone to these kinds of injuries, something that would continue to affect his career. Despite the severity of his shoulder issues, Orton remained resilient. He underwent a procedure to stabilize the shoulder, but this did not completely prevent future dislocations. The injury would continue to plague him throughout his career, forcing him to take breaks, undergo surgeries, and work extensively on his rehabilitation. It wasn't until 2015 that Orton's shoulder problems reached a critical point, requiring another round of surgery. This surgery forced him out of action for months, and at one point, medical experts suggested that Orton might want to consider stepping away from wrestling altogether. However, as he has done so many times before, Orton defied the odds. He worked tirelessly to recover, and, with the help of extensive rehab, managed to make a triumphant return to the ring. The back injury of 2022. A game changer. In addition to his shoulder problems, Orton also battled back issues throughout his career. These injuries, while not as publicized as his shoulder troubles, would prove to be equally significant. Orton's back problems reached a critical point in 2022 when he suffered a major spinal injury that left fans and medical professionals alike concerned about his future in the ring. The injury was later diagnosed as cervical cord neuropraxia, a condition that affects the spinal cord and can lead to symptoms such as numbness, weakness, and extreme pain. This injury was a major turning point in Orton's career. It raised significant concerns about his long-term health and his ability to continue performing at the highest level. Orton's spinal injury was severe, and many wondered whether this would be the injury that finally forced him into permanent retirement. The timing of the injury was particularly concerning, as Orton had been at the peak of his career, enjoying successful feuds and high-profile matches. However, the injury came at a time when he had already dealt with a number of other serious injuries throughout his career. In late 2022, Orton underwent a major spinal fusion surgery. Spinal fusion is a procedure that involves fusing two or more vertebrae together to provide stability to the spine. It is a complex and high-risk surgery, often leading to a prolonged recovery process. For professional wrestlers, spinal fusion surgeries are particularly concerning, as they typically end a wrestler's in-ring career due to the risks associated with further injury. Orton's surgery was a serious procedure, and his extended recovery time raised doubts about his return. The road to recovery. While the surgery was a major setback, Orton's story is far from one of defeat. The Viper has always been known for his resilience, and this injury was no different. Following the spinal fusion surgery, Orton began the long road to recovery. His rehabilitation process has been extensive, involving physical therapy and careful monitoring by WWE's medical team and independent doctors. The road to recovery has not been easy, and Orton has had to take extra precautions to ensure that he does not further damage his spine. Despite the serious nature of the injury, Orton has remained optimistic about his future. He has been seen maintaining his physical condition, training carefully, and doing what he can to stay in shape while his body heals. However, it is important to note that WWE has been extremely cautious in clearing him for in-ring action. The medical team, along with Orton's family and trainers, have all worked together to ensure that he doesn't rush back into competition before he is fully ready. Orton's health and well-being are paramount, and WWE has stated that they will not clear him to return until they are absolutely certain that it is safe for him to do so. Spinal injuries are among the most serious conditions that a professional wrestler can face. Some wrestlers, such as Edge and Daniel Bryan, have defied the odds and returned to action after suffering similar injuries, thanks to advances in medical science and rehabilitation techniques. Orton's case remains under close scrutiny, and it is still unclear when or if he will return to the ring. However, there is still hope that Orton may make a comeback, albeit with modifications to his wrestling style and a potentially lighter schedule. Rumors and speculation about Orton's health. As is often the case with high-profile athletes, rumors surrounding Randy Orton's health have been rampant in recent years. Some have speculated that Orton's spinal injury could be far worse than initially reported, suggesting that he may never wrestle again. Others have claimed that he has been dealing with nerve damage that could potentially lead to paralysis if he continues to wrestle. However, none of these claims have been substantiated by credible medical sources. While it is true that Orton's spinal injury was severe, the notion that he is permanently retired remains speculative. In 2023, reports surfaced that WWE officials had advised Orton against returning to the ring. However, those close to Orton, including his father, WWE Hall of Famer Bob Orton Jr., have indicated that he has continued his rehabilitation with the goal of returning to action. Orton himself has not ruled out a comeback, although he has remained cautious about rushing back into the ring before he is fully ready. One persistent rumor is that Orton is secretly dealing with nerve damage, which could leave him at risk of paralysis. While it is true that cervical cord neuropraxia involves nerve complications, no credible medical sources have confirmed that Orton is in immediate danger of permanent paralysis. WWE's medical clearance process is one of the strictest in professional sports, ensuring that no wrestler steps into the ring unless they are deemed fit to perform. Orton's recovery is being monitored closely, and his health remains the top priority. Looking ahead, what does the future hold for Randy Orton? As of 2023, Randy Orton has made significant progress in his recovery, although it is still uncertain when he will return to the ring. There are signs that he may be preparing for a comeback, as he has been seen training and staying in shape. However, WWE has been clear that Orton will not return until he has passed all necessary medical evaluations. His spine is fragile, and any further injury could potentially end his career for good. If Orton does return, it is likely that WWE will take measures to protect him. This could mean a lighter wrestling schedule, fewer high-impact matches, and perhaps a shift in his wrestling style to minimize the strain on his back. Orton's in-ring style has always been a mix of technical prowess and psychological warfare, so it is possible that he could adapt his approach to continue competing at a high level without putting undue stress on his spine. Conclusion: a legacy built on perseverance. Randy Orton's career has been defined by incredible highs and daunting lows. His multiple injuries, coupled with his unyielding determination to return to the ring, have showcased the resilience that has been a hallmark of his career. While the future of his wrestling career remains uncertain, one thing is clear: Randy Orton's legacy is already cemented as one of the greatest to ever compete in WWE. Whether he returns to the ring or not, Orton's impact on the business will continue to be felt for years to come. His contributions to WWE, his numerous championships, and his unforgettable rivalries with the likes of John Cena, The Undertaker, and Triple H have solidified him as a true icon in the industry. No matter the outcome of his recovery, Randy Orton will always be remembered for his heart, his toughness, and his undeniable place in wrestling history.